Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulaiman Rahim here, Messenger of the Covenant, breaker of the seven seals. In the name of Allah, who came in the person of Master Prophet Muhammad, in the name of his messenger, Elijah Muhammad, he raised up from amongst us to prepare the way for the Messenger of the Covenant, Sulaiman, would appear at the end to break the seven seals to guide us through the time of unprecedented trouble to return us home. Welcome. Let's bring our audio audience. This is the Black Alert segment of the Fire Zone. Brothers and sisters, first let's remind ourselves, if we need reminding, of the Holocaust. Where's the Holocaust? You shouldn't have to ask, but you do. Why? Because they're hiding the truth from you. They don't want you to know what they did to us. But you can see the evidence of what they did all around us, in us. But they want you to think that's our fault, that we're over here, that we're poor, uneducated. That's our fault because we have every opportunity. So, and they've been so nice to us, but we just niggas. See, we can't succeed because we're stupid. And had their demons out, their black-faced children out pushing that message. Oh, see, look, how good we're doing. See how good we're doing? There's something wrong with them. See? No, there's something wrong with you because we was made here in America. We got the stamp to prove it. See? What's your name? Denzel Washington. How'd you get that name, Denzel Washington? How'd you get that name, Oprah Winfrey? See, we're stamped made in America. That's the proof. So you've made us. See? And we niggas, you made the niggas. And you can tell a lot about the manufacturer, by the product it produces. See? So they don't want you to know the truth, brothers and sisters. And they want you to forget. They're trying everything they can. They're doing everything they can to get you to forget what they did. That's even if you remember, because most of you don't even know. I know when I was growing up, I'm 73 years old. I was going to school. They didn't tell you anything about any of this. Nothing. Had no idea. Had no idea it was even a slavery. Anything like that. See, I mean, they whitewashed it, but they wouldn't even tell you the whitewash name. Well, I know that I was here, and I was black, and I was poor, right? And I wasn't white, right? And that white folks was superior to me. That's all I knew. And God was white. If I didn't obey white people, I was going to hell because white God was going to throw me into hell. That's all I knew. That's all I knew. That's all I knew until I got into the military. Because if I knew anything at that time, if I knew anything about Elijah Muhammad, Nation of Islam, or anything, anywhere in the world, I went within 10,000 miles in the military. I went there because I was trying to escape. But I saw the issue in Newark. I grew up in Newark. Born in Newark. January 21st, 1949. Conceived 1948, same time Falls Israel was conceived, exact same time. So I went in the military at 17 because I was an orphan. I had no mother, I had no father. I was on my own. 17 years old. My father passed. I was 14. That was it. I had to make it through this world on my own. Mother passed when I was 9. My mother was a staunch Baptist. My father was converting to Islam under Elijah Muhammad. I didn't know that because my so-called relatives, they hid it from me until they saw I was doing it. And then they told, oh, you actually that what your father was doing. And I was all the way in the military, way down in Germany, way locked up someplace, way a mountain, top of a mountain. I mean, it was isolated. And then one day some brothers showed up. Some brothers showed up. Right? Some new recruits. Draftees, because I had joined, right? So I was a fool, right? Some brothers showed up. Black Power, Ongawa. What the world is that? Black Power, Ongawa. And hit that Sheik is on and stuff, right? We had a little downtown where no bigger than a basketball court, right? They had some old German women down there, and they were so old, they had guards around their legs. I mean, these Negroes from down south used to fight over them. Ridiculous. Black Power, Ongawa. So what the hell was that? Because I was always militant, and I was always for black folks. I didn't care for the white folks because my father told me. I'll tell you the story briefly, right? Because he was old school from Louisiana. Right? He had changed his name. When he was a teenager, he ran with him home because he said it was a long story anyway. Because some rednecks they killed his friend trying to get him. So he was so afraid, he ran with him home and never went back. And he changed his name. But he didn't know about Africa, nothing like this, so he changed his name to anything he could know, because he didn't know about Africa, he didn't know about nothing of that stuff, right? So, to make a long story short, right? My mother was around, we used to go down to North Carolina, like Christmas stuff like that. I said she was staunch Baptist. She was very young, she was a teenager when I was born, right? Young maiden. Interesting, huh? I was the only man she ever knew. Anyway, so they lived in a barn. My relatives down there, right? North Carolina, Roxborough, North Carolina. And so they used to run across the street to Mass House, because like all the white folks had nice houses. But they was like a little barn. Sometimes you drive to down such like all these houses, they have a little barn, like a little log cabin, and you think that's like a barn or something. People was living in there. Where I was, they were living in there. Outside the road, no bathroom, outhouse, no running water, none of that. See? Even into the 80s, 90s, because when I started, 80s, I was making a lot of money. I was doing for self, right? And Mr. Departed, I was doing what he said, do for self. So I was doing good, living in a mini mansion and everything, right? So I bought my aunt. She was still living down there. So I went up, got a house and stuff, right? Got out of there. Anyway, they run across the street because they were sharecropping. It's on my mother's side. They were across the street as they wouldn't say master, but they had some kind of off way of saying master, right? And these asked, could they go in and they had to go around the back, right? So they said, can they get some tomatoes, something out of this garden or whatever? So they let them have it. So they was getting ready to go back, back around to the front of the house, right? Across the street, across the road, right? So I'm with them, and I'm just watching them, right? And 8 years old at the time, I guess, because my mother passed when I was 9. And my father, he stayed at the corner of the building, side of the building. So when I got there, he grabbed me, said, boy, hear you call white folks like that, boy, I'll kill you myself. But it wasn't a hard message to take, because I was just me anyway. So to get back to military, so these brothers come over like that. And see, I left in '66. I think it was March '66. I missed the ride. I missed all that. Because I know me, how I am, I would have been in the middle. I probably got killed. I've been right in the middle of all of that. So I was military. Everybody knew I was military. I was always studying stuff and reading stuff, and I was always getting in fights all the time. I said, why do you fight all? Because I was the brothers in the middle, they was always fighting me because they don't hear what I want to talk about. I want to talk about science stuff. They want to talk about girls. I mean, I want to talk about girls too, but man, damn, I mean, to the limit, right? And I mean, why are you talking that shit, man? Get out of here, man. And I was talking about the Bible and stuff, right? Why y'all believing, because like they threw me out of church when my mother was around. They threw me out. They said, because I asked too many questions. They actually threw me out of Sunday school. So I'm over there. I ain't know about Nation of Islam. I ain't know about Malcolm X. I ain't know about Martin Luther King. I ain't know about none of that. None of it. Zero. It just happened. Like I said, I left just before all that stuff went down. My personality, I've been right in the middle of it. I guess, I don't believe that meant to be stuff, right? But I believe in mathematics. The mathematics of it was, I guess the mathematics said, hey, if you be here, you're going to be dead or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, that's what it was. So, when these brothers were there with that, what the hell was that? I want to know what that was about. And then I started hearing, he started telling me stuff. I said, man, wow, what's going on? And then I started talking about these books. And I started getting these books, and everything. Miss Strange's book was like the Mandingo drum and stuff. It was like the same thing as the Root series, but because he copied that idea from them. If you go get that Mandingo series, same thing as the Roots, person from Africa, and he goes through all this whole program, right? So I'm not saying I also stole his history from them. We stole the style of his writing, right? The way from them. And man, I was ready. I was ready. I started getting all kinds. I wasn't getting in trouble already. I was fighting all the time, even in the military, because I was always fighting white boys because they come up on me and I ain't taking no shit. And they didn't understand that. They did not understand me. And I didn't understand other black people because no matter what white folks, they was going along with it. And they were getting fights with me. I guess it was trying to recover their manhood or something. They saw I wasn't afraid of them. They figured, well, and they was. They figured they whooped me up, right? Maybe that make look like they're man again or whatever. But no, I wasn't being whooped up. So you can forget about that. I was 17 years old, right? I wasn't no Mike Tyson and Ali. I wasn't any of that, right? Right? And I wasn't even a good fighter, right? Because I ain't know, because I used to get in fights all the time before I went into the military, right? And I used to get whooped up a lot, right? Because I didn't know how to fight. And I didn't know, in Newark, everybody was going, either had some brothers that trained them, because like I said, my father died early, or they was going to the gym. I ain't know about no gym. And, you didn't go out there and pick up sticks of you box, right? So I'd be out there and I got my arm broke because I wasn't running, right? So like I said, and they outboxed me, right? But the thing was about it was I understood instinctively that I wasn't gonna let that happen, go down like that. So what I would do is that because I get in fights all the time. I mean, I had a birthday party, and dude come in. I ain't took no shit. I never took any shit from anybody. The only person in this whole world I've been afraid of was my old man. That's the only person that's like, oh, I've been afraid of that man, boy. Because I believe he kicked my ass every day. One time, Mother Peck, she covered, she blocked him. But once she was gone, boy, he kicked my ass every day. The time that he finally passed away in 63, right? Because I remember one time, I feel a little strong, right? I said, man, I said, I think he was gonna whoop me anyway, no matter what I do. So he whooped me for saying that. He didn't play. He wasn't no like tap. But he made a man out of me, and I love him. I love him now. You can't go around bad mouthing your parents. I don't care what, let's say rape you or something, because no matter who your parents are, no matter who they are and what they are, if there had been any difference in the slightest bit of Ab's weight, that event that brought you into existence wouldn't have ever happened. So you be, I wish you was like all kind of stuff. But if it's been like that, you wouldn't have existed. So you need to lay that stuff to rest. Because if you want to keep on with that bullshit, you have a dark, all that bad luck you having, think about it. So what I was saying, so what I would do is that they might whoop me up. That wouldn't be the end of it. Because you know where I'd be the next morning? I'd be right outside their house. When they come out, bam, we get into it again. They whoop me up. Right? Next time they come out the store, I right there, bam, they whoop me up. Right? But I get my licks in. This happened about 4 or 5 times. I was like, hey, come on, man. They want to be our friend then. Because they won't get no peace. Because they won't go around telling people they whoop me up and that kind of stuff. See, and the point is, the main thing was in Newark, I don't know about any place else, it wasn't so much how you bust, how much heart you had. And they know I had a lot of heart. And I was a little small thing, right? 17 years old. I mean, even I was small. I'm not that big now, but I was a little small thing, right? I ain't taking no shit from nobody. And you weren't going to punk me, right? And if you could outbox me, that doesn't mean you won. That just means you was better at boxing than me. That's all that meant. See? And I prove it. And they tell you, it's only a couple people left right here. They tell you, but they still, when I came back, you still fighting all the time? See? And I was one of 3 people I could walk anywhere in Newark. Nobody followed me. I lived all over Newark. Everybody knew me. See? So when I started getting that stuff over there, man, I started getting, and I was always a Bible reader anyway. See? So long story short, right, that eventually, right, when I found my life Muhammad through the Bible, not through Muhammad speak, I never heard Muhammad speak. I did know somebody Ali, and I found somebody Ali because I was reading a lot, and one day I went through this, they had this, it wasn't a library, but they had a lot of book stuff in there. I picked this book about Ali, and he was talking about the mother plane and stuff. But I still didn't connect it up, right? But I remember reading it, right? So I'm just pointing that out. See? So like I said, I started getting, learning about black folks, about slavery. Once I got that under my belt, there was no way I could stay in the military. There's no way. So I finally ended up and they threw me into Vietnam because I wasn't supposed to go to Vietnam. Because in fact, I had a legal exemption because I was the only son. So they weren't supposed to put you in it. But I didn't know it. See, white folks knew it. They knew it. But they got pissed off at me because I was so radical, and especially when I got transferred to Heidelberg, they didn't like that. And I remember when Witchcom came out with Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud. I bought that record. I bought me the loudest record player I could find. They had me in this barracks, and I don't think there's only other black folks in there. Because Heidelberg was mostly where the white folks, politicians are sending their sons, right? Because that was, they do that military thing out there, right? So those ones didn't get exemption, right? So that's where they were. And so I shouldn't even been there. I played things like, all through the building. I was proud. I was never fan of being black. I was glad I wasn't white. I guess I was revolutionary during that time, right? And this wasn't supposed to happen because nobody went to Vietnam from there. One day I walked up in there, hey man, congratulations on what? You going to Vietnam? So I knew what the deal was. They wanted to get my ass out of there, right? See? So at the time I was just an E4, like a corporal. And so I just went to, and like I said, I was never afraid of these white folks. So I think I was 18 at the time. Yeah, because I got to Vietnam on my 19th birthday. 19th birthday? I actually got there on my birthday, January 21st. My birthday, I think it was. I went to old captain and I said, look, I know what y'all doing. I know what y'all doing. Y'all want to get rid of me. I said, I'm not going to Vietnam because I got 3 stripes. I'm a sergeant. Because I ain't shoving shit and I ain't taking no orders from no clowns over there. Because that's what happens if you're less than a sergeant. He looked at me, laughed. They always laughed at me, because they were surprised. They wasn't getting this from other black people. They always laughed. I was wondering why they hit bam. But they were surprised. They were actually literally surprised. I never got any court martial or anything for doing that. But I was fighting all the time, and they never gave me a court martial because Order 15 never did it. I think they were just surprised. They didn't understand that I was fighting. I was just like, I put it through the hospital one time because he come knocking at my door. And I had me, to share the room, right? He come knocking at my door. It was a Negro, right? Negro, but see what he was doing. He was trying to punk me because he was trying to get, he was from Alabama somewhere. They called me Deadeye. He was trying to, I don't know. I mean, he was hanging around with these white boys, right? And I just jacked up one of them. One of the white boys, because he came at me, threatened me or something. I forget the deal. His name was Barrels or something. So he come knocking my door. I said, what's happening? So who is it? It's Deadeye. No, I'm saying, I'm still about 17 at the time, maybe 18. And real small, because everybody was so older than me. I was the youngest one, everybody was like in their 20s. It's Deadeye. So what you want? I don't want you. He gonna do me, right? Okay, wait a minute. I got my shirt on, pant on. Open the door and bam, right on him. Knocked him out. Right? He was bleeding all over the place. So this Sergeant Roberts, something like that. I can't remember. I didn't remember this stuff 50 years ago. He came in. He was a black guy too. He was like the sergeant of the night or whatever. They came and took him to the hospital. Like I knew I was going to jail. He never said nothing to me about it. The sergeant called me in. Said, what's happening? I told him I was end of it. So they never bothered me. For other people was going to jail, so they never bothered me because they was just surprised. Because they didn't expect anybody black folks act like that. Because people used to always ask me, was I a Muslim? You one of the Muslims? I didn't know what a Muslim was at the time. I said, what's that? Right? I said, they were like white folks. That must be one of them. People used to ask me that. Anyway, let me move on to the study, bro. So I was started talking. I said, the school ain't teaching nothing. That's why I started learning about that. These brothers came up. And that hit me. Because I identified with them. Right? So that's when I started my journey. Right? My conscious journey. Right? Towards knowledge of self. Because before I had nothing. What I knew is I wanted to try to make something out of myself. That's what I knew. I wanted to try to make something out of myself. I wasn't going to sit around here and be crying about, I ain't got no parents and all that kind of stuff. I said, I got to be here, right? So I got to be in this life. I'm going to make something of it. That's what I knew. That's all they wanted you to know. That's all they wanted you to know. See? And that gets back to what I was talking about the Holocaust. They didn't talk about that. They talk about Greek history, Roman history. They glorify that stuff. You look back in the past, those people were criminals. They was terrorists. So-called Alexander the Great wanted to take people's countries, raping their women. They glorify those people, and they conquested us, and Columbus, and Washington, and Jefferson, and they had us worshiping these people. And when I found out, I said, no way in the world I could do this anymore. That's what happened. So long story short, right? I got in Vietnam, and that's when I read about Malachi, read about Elijah Muhammad. I went looking for him. I went looking for him. I was looking for somebody named Elijah, about Malachi. I didn't know who I was going to find. Who I was going to find? Know about Islam, know about Message Black Man, know about Nation Islam, nothing. What I knew is this person had to exist now because I was that familiar with the Bible. I would look for him. And I found him about 6 months later. It's a long story. So the Holocaust, brothers and sisters, see, they want you to forget that. Even though the sheriff is coming over the horizon, the judge, the sheriff, and the execution is coming over the horizon. See? And so they got a couple things to do. They said, think, either get you to forget this stuff, forget him, right? Or just get rid of the evidence altogether. I think they come to the conclusion is to get rid of the evidence. See? Because 2020, was it made them realize they was under judgment. 1619 to 2019, 40 years, we gave him a covenant, which most people don't know anything about, but they don't want you to know anything about it. They want you to think it belongs to somebody else, belongs to you. See? And it's not in symbolic language. You don't have to break the seals to figure out that one. That's one of the only covenants I think in the Bible, or probably everything, that they speak directly. There's only one little riddle in there. Otherwise, they speak it directly. They say 40 years, they mean 40 years. They say torment, say torment. Some translators said horror, right? They speak directly, so there's no ambivalence, any confusion, anything, that this belongs to us. And what they say happens exact to us. So you got to question it. Some people say, well, I bet this move guy, right? He probably want to move out one of those, he's going to move guy one of those Israelite guys. And they, history pieces of bullshit, man. This is it. Because he couldn't even bring himself to say that was talk about us. History repeats itself. See? Because they got you so confused. See? History repeats itself. No, it's only one little riddle in there. Small one. Right? And what is that? The fact that only place they call Abram right there. That's the only place they call Abram right there. You say, why do they call him Abram? Why do they call him Abraham? That's what they call him every place else. They call him every place else. Only right there is what they call him, Abram. Why? See? Because they're telling you Ham. They're telling you Ham. If you're going to ask them who you in the Bible, they say you Ham. Now look at who Ham is. Go dare you. Go and ask the preacher, ask that white preacher, who are you in the Bible? I double dare you. If he's going to tell you the truth, he's going to tell you Ham. Then look at who Ham is. Ham was Shem's son. Shem was Noah's son, right? And Shem was immoral or something. He did immoral acts, so they say. I'm not, whatever. And so because of that, God and Noah cursed him, right? Cursed his seed, Ham, because Ham was his son, to be slaves for all eternity. Slaves to the rest of Noah. So in other words, Noah's supposed to have been white, all his sons supposed to have been white, but Ham was cursed black and doomed to be slaves for eternity. Because see, when the white kids asked their parents, where did black folks come from? You used to tell them was the Adam and Eve story. That's what tell them. That's what they got. That's the kindergarten variety of it, right? See, and then and so because we came and we killed our brother, so we got cursed black. Because remember, Cain got a mark. See, but then when they got a little more old, a little more intelligent, the grammar school version was, because then they say, well, Mama, was Noah white? Yeah, he was white. I thought you said black folks came from when they drowned. I'm the upgraded version, right? No, it was all white, but they had one son that was immoral. He did an immoral act. So what happened is that his son got cursed, right? See, Noah's grandson got cursed, Ham. See, he got cursed black and made to be a slave to the rest of his white brothers for all eternity. That's what it says. See, and so Ham was supposed to migrate into Ethiopia, Africa. So that's the Hamites, that's us. And the curious thing about that happened 4,000 years ago. Why it take them 3,000 years, or 3,500 years, right, to find them and make them slaves? See, that's bullshit, all bullshit. The Noah story, all is bullshit, but you believe in it because you're Negro, but you trained to believe in anything white folks tell you, no matter how crazy it is. See, and they didn't want to slave you, but you love them. And capitalism will slave you, but you want to be a capitalist. Anyway, that's the story. See? So you go back to Abraham. See, the point is, Abraham, you understand it? He'd be lost from him, because they'd be lost in foreign land that's not theirs. Pharaoh said land belongs to us. Well, God said don't belong to us. Muhammad said don't belong to us. Now Muhammad said belong to us, I guess Pharaoh knows best. So he will be united after 40 years. Abraham. That's the only little code in there. Other than that, it's straight language. We're going to be tormented, afflicted, enslaved, and afflicted. If you're enslaved and afflicted, that means affliction is not part of slavery. Otherwise, they'd say you're enslaved. Now we've got to cover the whole thing, right? See, because they say, oh, you're a slave. No, that was the economic part of it, the capitalist part of it. Maximum profit, minimum overhead. They had to feed you something. Get you to work. They fed you shit. They fed you literally shit. I'm not just making up. Literally shit. We think shillings. That's why they call it shillings. Because that's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it is. And now I took the S off with the C, because instead you're still stupid and you're going to still eat it. Even though now you don't have to, because that's what you ate. And it wasn't no salt, pepper, and spoons and forks with it either. They fed you in a trowel, and instead they cooked it all. They did not clean the shit out of it. And you better eat it and knock your teeth out and put a phone in your mouth, force down your throat, because you was going to work. And so when you got to the point where you could do something about it, you try to clean it up as much as you could, put some seed or something on it, because that's all you was going to eat. But now you don't have to, you're still doing it. Eating shit, and you know it's shit. You clean, anybody at eat chillers know it's shit there, because they see it floating on thing, you see how stinking, they know it. But they'll tell you, man, I ain't eat Aunt Sarah's shit because they don't clean. Well, how you can't clean shit? Holocaust, murder, rape, dismemberment, torture, 24/7, no let up. No let up. None whatsoever. But over 40 years. Over 40 years. And now you're trying to, and then you got these demons, they're black-faced children, because it says, half the blacks in America are their children. There's the chaff sown amongst wheat. It says the enemy sowed his seed amongst the wheat. That's them, their chaff. That's their black-faced children. That's their black-faced children. And they busy trying to get you, they the house Negroes. Those ones they let live in the house, because that was master's children. And they're doing the same thing now they was doing then, because they use you as a role model. Well, if you be like them, and then you could be in a house like if you obey master, then do what master tell you could be in a house like them. You was never gonna be in that house ever. They knew they couldn't trust you. They knew they could trust their own children, because their children loved them. Their children just was upset because they wasn't right. They wasn't giving acknowledged like the white children were. See, they was white children too. They had black face. They weren't circumcised. What circumcised means? Spiritual circumcision means that black skin was removed. That's what spiritual circumcision is. You understand? See? You had to be circumcised. See, to be successful. You see? Because that's what Dr. Yakub did. He circumcised. And that's why he got rid of that black skin. That gets energy deprivation. I'm going to talk about here right now. So I say they do it right now. You can be like Oprah. You can be like Denzel. See? You can be like Lawrence. Wouldn't ever want to be like those clowns. You can be like all those people. You ain't going to never be like them. See? But that's keep you, right? And they did raw miles to keep you in line. The preachers there to make sure you stay in line, right? And terror butts. That's them to terrorize you like they're doing in Chicago and stuff. That's their children doing that. That's not ours. Don't be deceived. That's their children doing that. But we get hit for it. Their children that's making look stupid on TV. Martin Lawrence, all these clowns, right? Women as big as the moon, and jelly rolls, and some nigga got nose up behind. Yeah, baby, come on. That is not us. That never has been us. That's why Africans don't have anything to do with us. They say, man, if we take a hit, they take a hit like we taking it. Because now all the world see, because you'll see their movies like that. All the world's looking at them the same way in those damn movies. They think they like that too. Anyway, bro, so I didn't mean to talk about this as long as I did. Holocaust. Okay. So we're going to move into the subject here. Moving to the subject here, brothers and sisters. We have a few topics I want to talk about. Let me go in. always forget to set my timer up, brothers and sisters, because lately I've been going a lot longer than I expect to. Yeah, here, brothers and sisters. Okay, we're going to talk about Time Lord. That's the main. But we don't cover a lot of things, but it's all getting around to that. For those of you familiar with Elijah Muhammad, talk about a lot of things, and 90% of it is not in Mr. Black Man or For America or Save the Bride. It's not there. I was there from 775. I mean, it was there, not in the nation, there. From 775, right there in Chicago. That's number two. Number two. It's on security, all 9 yards. Foreman, nice shift on the House Speak newspaper. Did 300 papers a week like everybody else. Every week without fail. Sick or not, I did it. So you got these people talking all this stuff. Oh, Mr. Black Man, they don't know what they're talking about. I tell them a lot of stuff that's not Mr. Black Man that Mr. talked about. They're talking about the tyrant, and a lot of these Negroes, Negro butts. See, the demons, they're not going to make it. They're not going to make the tribulation. This will be wiped out. The master going to wipe them out. And story of Mark, where they was Jesus cast them out. They said, "Please don't make me leave the country," because they want to stay here. They want to stay here. We're going to talk about that. See, that's religion. Louis Eugene Grounds NOI backwards. That's Farrakhan. Farrakhan's name is Louis Eugene. Okay, question. What's his last name? The NOI backwards. He's definitely turned NOI backwards. He definitely turns backwards. ION-NOI. So is that a coincidence? So we're going to argue about that last name? See? He went, "Oh, no, it was Walcott. No, it was Grounds." But anyway, I'm not going to fight with him about his name. Good? No? See? I was going to try to downplay that one. But it tells you. So, you can't make that up. Louis, L-E-G-I-O-N, Louis Eugene Grounds, NOI backwards. Says, "Please don't be in these countries. They want to stay here." That's Farrakhan said, "We ain't going nowhere." In spite of everything Elijah Muhammad taught, Elijah Muhammad specifically says that we already played the recording. Man, talking about a transcript. He says we'll be fools to stay here in the land of our imprisonment. He said our ancestors were raised up in judgment called fools. Yet Farrakhan said we ain't going nowhere. So who's the liar there? Don't take my word for it. Go out there on YouTube and look up what the Muslims want. Elijah Muhammad. And near the end of the tape, he says those very words. We fools to want to stay here in the land of our imprisonment. He said, "You're fools who will stay here and want to stay here and love these people and everything, and all the things they've done to us." But Farrakhan said, "He ain't going to stay here. He ain't going nowhere." We're going to talk about that. So they talk a lot about this tyrant. And, see, that was one of the things they talked about. They said, the one thing about this last one that's coming, Elijah Muhammad talked about, they said nobody knew what he would do. See, because they write history, but see, because he's a 25th scientist, see, he knows. See, when they write history, history doesn't determine what you do. It's like you watch an eclipse. Because you figured out there's going to be an eclipse, you didn't make it happen. All you did was figure it out, and then you wrote down that was going to happen. Same thing. They look ahead. They see what's going to happen. They just write it down. Now it can influence it. I'm writing it down. So it has to be. It's very powerful differential equations going on here. But anyway, most 90% of the people, right? Well, 99%. They don't know exactly how they fit in the scriptures 100%. What scripture said they would or would not do. So they can't change anything. Because if you know exactly what scripture says it's going to do, scripture says, you're going to be at McDonald's at 9 o'clock Tuesday morning, 1990. And you see it, then you don't show up, then you change the scripture. And you change everything that follows after that. See, because everything that follows after that depends on you being there, like it said, but you're not there. Just like, procreation situation, right? They say a person will be born, but for that person to be born, right? Remember, all that sperm, thousands, billions of sperm, right? Had to be at the same time, right? And everything. If anything missing, then that wouldn't happen. That person would be born, say prophet Jesus, whatever. Then he wouldn't be born, but therefore all the things they wrote about happen, that wouldn't happen. Because that person was never born. So it had to be exact. You can't be off by even the atom's weight. That's how powerful we are without writing scripture. I'm not going into details about that, but we have a powerful, those that, see, like Muhammad said, well, you watch a bug on up wall, whatever. I mean, he said that way because there was no computers at the time. So these people that talk this bullshit, I don't listen to them. See, because they didn't have computers at the time. So that's why he talked that way. He didn't know about any computers. He didn't know about nuclear fusion. But it's in the lessons. Nuclear explosions are in the lessons, but they don't know it. I'll show it to you one day. I've talked about it. I was from Muhammad knew about it because it's right there. Was it 10 million atoms? How much is 10 million? How much does a crack atom weigh? If you do the math on that, you change it from how much you weigh to how much force it has. You got a nuclear explosion you talked about anyway. That's no story. It's no story altogether. I'm not going there. So they write. So once you understand exactly what, you could change it. See, you can change the things that say follow. But by doing that, oh, brothers and sisters. By knowing, so you can change what follows. But by doing that, you blind yourself because scripture also our foresight. It's our software. It's also our foresight. Because right now they have you blinded because they told you that Elijah Muhammad told you that scriptures are foresight. He says they're writing about future history. But these these lives are telling you that's in the past. So therefore they blinded you. That's why it says when he gave light sight to the blind, he didn't give physical sight to the blind. He returned their sight back to them by showing them that scripture's foresight is happening now into the future. It's not the past. And then once you do that, your foresight, your light sight come back to you. Because they blinded you now by telling you that's the past. And Elijah Muhammad told you, said, no, that's future history. Future history. They write future history, they don't write past history. And so you get the book for that time. Whenever you enter a book you're given, that's for that time and move forward, not backwards. And that's how they blinded you. It's also your software because the scripture, like for the Quran, for instance, that's the software that the people that upload that software time, they were successful. They was the believers because that was the right software for that particular time, for that 1,000-year period to accomplish where they accomplished a 1,000-year period. But it's only for that period. And then you get new software for the next period. And then you had software for this period, which is the AL-INJIL or Revelations, right? And it's only for this, it was designed for this period only. Because we're going to top unprecedented trouble. And so you need a book, right? The most powerful book that gets through it. And you need somebody that's powerful enough to break those seals to get you through it. That's what because Revelations only talks about this war and everything. It doesn't get you, it doesn't build a hereafter. It doesn't tell you how to do that. It doesn't talk about the past. It's talking about how the things happening right now. Anybody that has it, read it at all knows that's what it's talking about. It's talking about what's happening right now, but they don't know. They don't know. They haven't broken the seals. So how do they know? But anything, the point is, anybody has read it all knows. That's what I call apocalypse and everything. They know that what it means is that what's talking about is what's going on during Armageddon. All the hell's broken loose. That's what it's talking about. So that's the book for this time. The Quran doesn't focus on that. The Quran talks about a lot of things. The general Bible doesn't. But the Revelations and Daniel speaks specifically about what's happening right now. So it behooves you to figure out what it's saying, because that's the light that you need to get through the time we're going through right now. And so only one person will be able to do that. There's no one in the heavens or earth, on earth, who's able to do it, except one person. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Time Lord. See, we need to put things in perspective here. We need to put things in perspective. So let's okay, we talked about Holocaust already. We can go past that one. Excuse me, bonuses, like I said. Got new systems here I'm kind of get used to. Complicated. Okay, New Jerusalem. I'm kind of put out things I'm not going chronologically, I'm bouncing all over here, right? See, New Jerusalem. Well, there's a lot of things going with that, because it talks about the new ark. See, Revelation, though, remember they talk about the new ark, because so-called Noah thing is supposed to be in the past, right? That's the old ark. Right, new ark. Then New Jerusalem, Newark, NJ, New Jersey. I know that don't mean anything to you. But that would be where the Christ would be born. And it'd be a sign that rose in heaven. It'd be a sign that rose in the east. That's where he'd be conceived at. See? So it'd be a sign that rose in a star that rose in the east at the same time that he was being conceived in the west. Because in the east, he has been in the west. And should be conceived among the beasts. Be born amongst the beasts. In Newark, New Jersey. 1948, when the Antichrist, or that star rose in the Middle East. So you chew on that one. Newark, New Jersey. We're talking about Newark, NJ, New Jersey. 1948. Be the same age as false Israel. They both conceived at the same time. Coincidence, right? Okay. But New Jerusalem, see our sister there? She's on high. See? Restored the position of power and beauty and love and peace. But that's she is. She's a personification of beauty and peace and love. She's a personification of it. She's the attributes of it. You see, that's what you see. You don't see it now. See, because she's full of wrath right now. At mass in us too. And I don't blame her. I would too. Because when Master was the only one that was raping and beating her, we was doing it too. But we had about to beat up after Master just fans raping us. So we beat her up. And the Master beating us and raping us and emasculating us in front of her and the children. So they took our manhood away, the little man we had. So we had to prove it by beating her up. Yeah, we did it. Shameful. See? But we're going to make it up to her. Or we're going to make it up to her. And I apologize, sister. I apologize for us. I apologize to you. You get the most sincere apology you're ever going to get. Because I'm your champion. And your path to hereafter is paved with gold. I mean, it's almost impossible. It's almost impossible for your original sister to not make it hereafter. Right? Because I'm your champion. Anybody speak up against you, they have to talk to me. Unless you walk up there with the devil on your arm, didn't he? You don't be that stupid. We apologize to you, brothers and sisters, because sisters, they was the heroes. They was the warriors. They was defending us. If it was up to Master, we wouldn't even be here because Master was raping them from toddlers. He kept us separated from them. They had to sneak around, didn't be with us, and the master called them, they would kill them. The master knew that they was pregnant with our babies, unless he permitted, he would kill them and the baby too. Our cost. But New Jerusalem. Now, why am I mentioning this? Because it says the God, Master Muhammad, he's the one that's going to, he's the God of this season. And I told you there's 4 seasons every 20, between approximately, it's 4 seasons, right? Or approximately 6,000 years, but it's 20, nearly between approximately 25,000 year cycle. So because 4 times 6 is 24. And so Dr. Yaqub was the Lord of the winter cycle, 6,000 years which came through, right? Because he set it up, he controlled it. He gave a mind, he gave a mindset that would rule during that particular time. And Master Muhammad, right? He's the God, that's called Lord of Dawn, of this cycle where it can win their cycle is over. We're in the spring thaw right now, right? Because we're in Master Muhammad's cycle. Because look, they tell you in military terms, whoever rules the skies control the battle, right? Control the battlefield. Whoever rules the skies rule. That's why I take out the skies. Whoever rules the skies rule. They tell you that, right? Well, who's ruling the skies? They're telling you right now, those planes up there that they admit they exist are ruling the skies. They can't touch them. Your God is ruling, bro and sisters. Don't you see it? He only waiting for you to, he only waiting for Suleiman, right, to raise up Lazarus. And he's going to give a helping hand because he's going to take the resistance out that's resisted that resurrection. That's false Israel because they pretend to us. Once they're out, that resistance is gone, and then because they're the resistance to Suleiman doing it. Because they set up to pretend they're us. Once Master Muhammad takes them out, I'm going to talk about that in a minute, right? Then Suleiman raised Lazarus, right? And then we're going home. But your God ruling. It says, he who guards Israel, right? Michael says he needs sleep or slumber. It's right said in the Quran. He's ruling. He's ruling right now. He's ruling the skies. He said that when they come around them nuclear facilities, he said they become inactive. He neutralizes them. He says his planes are they fly. They say they fly all over the East Coast right now. I mean, they're saying it. They said everywhere. You better pay attention to the news. Just Google it. They're saying it. They admit they're there. They're saying they're from some galaxy far, far away, in the Darth Vader or something. So if they rule the skies, but they're telling you, they're in charge. They're ruling it and they're admitting it. But they don't explain, they ain't gonna explain to you like this. Master Muhammad is in charge. He's ruling it. He's the God of this age, this 6,000 year period. He's the Lord of Dawn. But see, that was true. Read Revelation. There's Lord of Lord and King of Kings, and there's King of Kings and Lord of Lords. It's not the same. The Lamb was Lord of Lord and King of Kings, and Master Muhammad's King of Kings, Lord of Lords. I'm going to explain that in a minute. So New Jerusalem, it says, Master Muhammad is going to have a new kingdom. It's going to make all things new. It tells you that ancient days when he gives Master Muhammad the kingdom. Where did you get that from? Read it. How did Master Muhammad get the kingdom? He's the one that, like the Son of Man, that comes in the clouds, right? He comes in ancient days, who has woolly hair, right? Does Master Muhammad have woolly hair? Does Elijah Muhammad have woolly? Well, he might. I mean, he was born when he left here. Does Farrakhan have woolly hair? And Master Muhammad gets the kingdom from whoever that person is sitting on the throne. He cast down the people that were sitting on thrones. See, but it says he's going to make all things new. Chew on that for a minute. He's going to make all things new. All things new. Let me say it again. All things new. That means everything but America. He said all, that means all really means all? If that's the case, then why is Farrakhan telling you we're going to stay in America? We're going to inherit America. That's going to make America new. Is that? You see the bullshit? Farrakhan a big lying dog. And his time is up. We'll close the book on him. You're going to see before the end of the year, much sooner than that, within a month or two, his ass going to be out of there. He would roll down Stony Island Avenue in his wheelchair. All things new, New Jerusalem. So what in the world? Muhammad said, we don't want none of this, none of this world. You know, he said that's the measure of the black man. So why is Farrakhan telling you we're going to eventually inherit this land of our land that belongs to us? We put our certain blood belongs to us. We're going to inherit America. What the hell was America to begin with? Gonna make all things new. So if we're gonna have America, I mean, he's not gonna make all things new. So he's calling God a liar there too. He's calling God a liar. Master Muhammad liar, calling Elijah, calling everybody a liar. Because everything he says goes counter against everything they say, because it makes no sense. How he gonna make all things new? America says, Elijah Muhammad said, follow America. You got the book, you see American flames, but Farrakhan said, no, we ain't going nowhere. So we're gonna be protected. We're gonna be protected. Just all you got to do is pray, have faith in God, and you want something. You okay? You believe that? See? You got baked hamburgers? Because you're gonna be starving. They tell you, man, food's gonna be run out pretty soon. They tell you the food price will be doubled in a month or two. That's what they're telling you. They tell you somebody's burning out all the food processing plants. What's that all about? They're telling you and you see America's crumbling, but most of you don't because you're out of the storm. That's where they want you. Calm, watch NBA, vaping, see, rubbing on your baby behind, all that kind of stuff. That's what you want you. While hell rages around you, because you're the target. You're the one they're going to eliminate. That's it. Coming, you put in a snare. It's a snare. See? Because you won't see it coming. See? And Farrakhan's leading you to destruction. See, it's a Satan casting out Satan. He admits it. He says this. We have the tapes. He said his mother and his father's parents. Remember, you were the sperm, you wasn't the egg. So whatever your father, that's what you are. You was the sperm. The sperm is egg is just material, right? That sperm uses to prepare for life outside the womb, because this egg has that material, it has that information. But the point is that if his father parents are Portuguese Jews, like he says, Portuguese white Jews, that means that's what his father is. That means that's what he is. He is a black one. He's a black Portuguese Jew. You see, he ain't my Messiah. He's Aaron. Read what Aaron really does. See? So that's why he wants you to stay here, because he wants to stay, because he loves what these people are doing, because he has the same nature as them. The demon, that's why he says, Legion, please don't make me lead a country. He don't want to leave here because he likes this. He loves this because this built off of the minds of his parents, mind of his people. And so it's the same mind he has. So he identifies with it. That he don't want to leave here. So he's leaving you to destruction. He leading many as you, as Cain said, he would make war with the saints. It will come to 42 years. How do you make with his mouth? That's what I call him the mouth. Aaron was only noted for his mouth in both the Quran and the Bible. That's the only attribute he was known for. Son of perdition. So if that's the case, if it is the case, that means it's Satan casting out Satan, because he's after the Jews, but he says it right there. He said he used to love Jesus, Jewish music growing up and all that stuff. We got the tapes. Go and Google, right? Go and Google, Farrakhan says his father may be a Jew. Just Google that and I guarantee you it'll show up. Unless you got one of those iPhones, it'll show up right there, the interview he did, and that's what he says. That means he's a Jew, makes him Satan. That's why it says Satan casting out Satan. It says that the son of perdition, he reacted after the works of Satan. So New Jerusalem, gonna make all things new. Gonna turn his place to a paradise. Greater paradise was before 50,000 years ago. We never did any manufacturing stuff here. When they came found pristine, they said, well, we were stupid backwards. No. We didn't matter. How do you think we put things out there? That stuff happened accidentally. We traveled. Universe. At speeds they can't imagine. Speed of thought, 24 billion miles per second. See? But we put all that to rest. 50,000 years ago, we started going energy deprivation. All the energy that's out there used to be here. Now it's out there, we start energy deprivation. Have enough energy to maintain what we have, so we put all that stuff to rest. But we do our manufacture off planet. And we'll do it again. Make a place of paradise. Right? The air will be so sweet you can almost taste it. Right? The water be so sweet that you sugar. Sugar, man, the water be so beautiful, taste so good. You'll be wanting pops. We need soft drinks and stuff. The water tastes so good. Right? The air be smells so great. The air smells so great. Right? Flowers every place. Right? It's intoxicating. We'll be needing perfume and all that kind of stuff. The birds will be singing like you don't need mouths. The birds will be so singing all the place. Animals they won't be hiding and attacking you anymore because you won't be eating them anymore. That's why they're doing that. What will you do? They're eating you. Be a whole new world, paradise here, and it'll be duplicated trillions of times all over the universe. We got trillions of planets out there, trillions of them. They have it, they're already set, made, already prepared. See, that's one of the things about the Lamb's Book of Life, see? Because we don't want no fools to get into paradise. Because one fool in there could cause a lot of trouble. You move it, you got a ship that can move 24 billion miles per second. That's why they got the Van Allen belt. Most of you don't even know what that is. I think between Jupiter and Mars. Right? There's asteroids. Asteroid belt that goes all the way between there. And that's we put it there. Just in case somebody's coming out at that speed, they got to go to the asteroid belt. Now asteroid belt tear their ass up. They will never get anywhere near the Earth. At that speed, if you came and you had a car that's moving that fast, right? 24 billion miles per second, hit the Earth and crack the Earth. The kinetic power force would be so great. So that's why we got the Van Allen belt. We did all that stuff, brothers and sisters. And I can tell people, when you look out in the universe, right? Use telescopes. When you look out there right now, with naked eye, that's the way the universe looked maybe a billion years ago. But that's how long it took to get here, because it's so far away. That's not the way it looks right now. See? So they put this powerful telescope look further and further back in time. See? What they're doing is not really actually going back in time. What they're seeing is they got more light, so they can see deep. They can see light, right? The same light just got here, right? They can see more clearly, right? So they can see more detail. That's all it is. See, because when you look out there right now, a lot of things you think of stars, they're galaxies. So those little points you think of stars, they're galaxies, but you can't see the detail because they're so far away. You think it's a star, it's galaxies. There's trillions of them out there. You understand? So they get enough they get a powerful enough telescope, right? And they probably see us flying around out there trillions of years ago. They probably may have seen already. So we did all of that. So we and be paradise. But we have plans that specifically do manufacture this, manufacture that, whatever. But we don't do it with unlivable planets. And you will live as long as you want to live. That's no story. That's New Jerusalem. And you will live as long as you want. And you'll be healthy the whole time. And be useful all the time. The Quran tells you that. You're useful. Eli Muhammad tells you that. You're useful the whole time. I'm telling you that too. Because we get energy. I'm not going to go into I start going into details, but we'll be all day. We get energy bursts every approximately 50 years. And this one is going to invigorate us so much that we're going to break all chains. We're going to rise back to New Jerusalem. See? So the people in the past didn't have all that technology because we never had technology on Earth to begin with. See? So they said, all right, see, okay, they got all this great technology, right? They claim it's great. They really get it from our minds too, right? Our creativity. They can't always create. But what was no? It's destroyed Earth, ain't it? So what good is it? What good is putting a bigger furnace in your house? Now you can produce iron, but you can't live in the house. It's all smoky and everything else, and you get cancer and everything else. See? Move on, brothers and sisters. New Jerusalem. At doorsteps. Some of you gonna make it, some of you ain't. Then we're gonna talk about. See his legion. Stone cold liar, son of a devil. All the things we tell you, bro, says you can check on yourself. You can check yourself. All the things we tell you, check yourself. Just Google him. Just Google him. Google his bio. Just Google his bio. It says his father's name is Percival Clark. Here's your picture of him. They say, oh, he was Jamaican. See, they try to get away from it now because hell is catching up with him. Excuse me, brothers and sisters. Jamaican is nationality. Just like they call you American. That's your nationality. Right? National ethnicity. You understand? There you go. That's your nationality. That's what you're he's Jamaican. Right? Well, you got a lot of people, you got Indians over in Jamaica there, that's their nationality. Being American is your nationality, it's not your ethnicity. That's why I call you Afro-American. See, your ethnicity and your nationality. They try to get away from it. But the bottom line is his father's devil. Now, we said we have admitted in an interview he gave, right? He admitted his father's parents were white Portuguese Jews. So if you want to, we give some of this information we give you, brothers and sisters, till you get out the way. Because hell's about to break loose over there. Since the thrones are cast down, they're getting ready to cast out there, and they're going to be cast out from the inside. And then soon I'm going to sit. That's why you see me do what I'm doing right now. See? I'm proving to you, I know what I'm talking about, because I'm showing you this right now, because I'm going to be there physically in a few more days. And so I can play this tape and show you, right, after I get there, right, that I knew I was going to be there before I got there. See? So we see who the bullshitters are, see? Who the clowns are. The Legion, he gave a so-called swine song. Louis Eugene Ground's NOI backwards. It's called Swan Song. If you and I have to admit, you know, I suffered through that shitstorm, that shit buffet, 5 hours. You know, he talking about nothing. Only thing he said near the end was, he commented on the world. Yeah, well, this war is going to lead to Armageddon. It's going to spread, lead to Armageddon. No, it's not. I said, keep on prophesizing. See, because you prophesied at CNN. So that's what it looks like. He didn't catch no COVID-19. He catch that. He should have caught it. That was an easy one. 1619 and 2019, 20 years of Abrahamic covenant. After that be the first of 10 plagues. The first be the kill the firstborn, which is the elderly, and pass over us. And that's exactly what happened. It's not killing black people. It's killing. It was killing demon black folks, black skin folks. But it killed original black folks. It said it passed over us, and that's what happened. It passed over Africa. There's proof. Just Google World Health Organization about it. They said it was passing over Black Africa, passing over Haiti, and we really they don't say this, but it's passing over us because we're saying. I never wore a mask that I was forced to. I had to go, if I wanted to go in a particular store or something. You see? So why are you wearing a mask, Farrakhan, if you control this thing? If you be able to have a covenant, because it said it's not going to affect you. And you're supposed to be so it definitely going to affect you, because you say you got control of it. You're going to hit all this kind of stuff. But you didn't see it coming. You ran to the brick wall 2,020 miles per hour. It's like everybody's like size and everybody else. You ran right to the damn brick wall, just like all of them. Because you didn't see it coming. And then you claim, well, nobody knew it was going to be a pandemic till March. After so-called save day, but you didn't mention at all, not one scintilla of it. So if that was the case, then how come you didn't tell everybody in your so-called save day, hey man, it's going to be a pandemic next month or pretty soon? You ain't mention it. You ain't mention anything to Jay's life. You knew everything about it. Said, well, nobody knew. That's a lie, because I was talking about it, and I got to prove I was talking about it back in January. I was talking about it before January. Because 1619, 29, that easy call. Swine song. I'm just telling you, brothers and sisters, those that you hung up in there that haven't been totally uh, 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 um, taken down by this liar, still got some hope in Elijah Muhammad, still trying to obey the lessons, trying to adhere to it, but you figure bad water is better than no water, so you're hanging in there. I'm just telling you, watch out, brothers and sisters, take cover. Don't get the crossfire. Or there ain't gonna be no guns and stuff, knives. He's gone. Don't be the crossfire. Get out the way, brothers and sisters. It's about to go down. Time Lord. I'm saying a few things about Time Lord here. Well, I'm saying a lot of stuff about Time Lord. See, Elijah, I'm gonna do a special on that one. I was gonna do it today, but I said no. Maybe do it tomorrow or Sunday. I'm talking about these 25 scientists. There's 12 minor scientists, 12 major scientists. Then you got the supreme scientist. And he never said that was Master Muhammad. But a lot of you assume that it's not Master Muhammad. See? Because, first of all, it wasn't Master Muhammad's father. How do you know? Easy. Because that 25th scientist, he got 360 degrees. That's his 25th. The other ones got varying degrees, like maybe 90 degrees, or maybe the minor scientists may have 90 degrees. Major ones may have 180 degrees, 270, whatever, right? But the master's, the 25th scientist, he got 360 degrees. That's why he's his 25th one. See? And he's in the background. Like Muhammad said, he stays in the background. He's like a hermit. He stayed hidden for 76 trillion years. He stayed in the background. And he don't go. I mean, he's around amongst the people. People don't know who he is. He lives his life around the people. People know who he is. Scientists know who he is. He said, if anybody think they discovered him, it might, somehow he snatched the idea right out of their minds, because he could, that time he could tune in. But see, he's suffering the worst case of energy deprivation than everybody, because he's got superior genes, and the more complex your genes are, the more you're gonna suffer energy deprivation. So he suffered more. It's like we suffered more than other people. All other nations did. We suffered more than other nations did. Then some of us suffered more and more. It depends on how complicated we are. If you're a brain cell, you're gonna suffer more than the foot cell, right? Because the brain cell is more complicated. See? So he was suffering more than anybody else. That's why I said he looked like he was slain from the foundation of the earth. Why? What are you talking about that? You saying a lamb? Well, think about it. If you can, it says the lamb, no one in the heavens, on the earth, or on the earth. That means the whole universe. No one's in the heavens, on the earth, whole universe could break that seal. That means that he's the only one who can do it. That means he's the 25th scientist. See, it said he keeps himself hidden. He said he clothes himself with triple darkness, total triple darkness. Because he, and plus it's kind of lonely being him. Because who are you going to talk to? He only talk to science, because he don't want to talk what you want to talk. They said even Master Muhammad, like Muhammad said, it was difficult talking to him. But he said everything he said wasn't any vain talk. Every word mean. So he didn't indulge in. He talked to science. Everything he said meant something. He didn't have time for no bullshit. 25th science, he's like, he says very lonely at the top. So he's going to talk to. So if he talks to you, that means he got to lower his language, lower his thinking and everything to talk to you. Because you can't come to his level, so you got to come down to your level to talk. That's one of the reasons why he's a hermit. Now, Master Muhammad, he's supposed to be the 24th scientist. See, because the point is, his father, Elijah Muhammad called him Alfonso, but the Bible called him, I can't pronounce that word, I need to look it up again, right? Because he's Darius. He's the one who takes down Babylon anyway. It says, Master Muhammad says father, right? Original. But his mother was, according to the Bible, his mother was Jewish. White Jew. Esther. Right? See? You want to study that? Go. Because if you go back in Daniel, Darius, he's the one that takes down Babylon, and that's from Muhammad's one of the right? His father is the original man. He says he controlled all from Ethiopia all the way up to India, I think it is, right? Hindu Kush or whatever. He's very powerful, right? But he's original. But his wife that he had Darius by was Caucasian, Jewish. So that's that talking about Master Muhammad there. It's right in the scripture. It'd be half, right? But he said, Elijah Muhammad said his father didn't have complete knowledge because he had to go to all the other scientists and purchase with a lot of money. So he had to have a lot of money because they said, obviously he was very influential, very powerful. And to purchase knowledge from them to make Master Muhammad's education complete. So if he had 360, he wouldn't have to go get some other scientists with him. See? Because Elijah Muhammad said, Master Muhammad is a made God. He said, not a natural one. He's made God. See? Because natural ones, right, they already have. They're 180 whatever, right? See? So they can teach themselves that. Like I said, Dr. Yakub, Elijah Muhammad tells us he was self-taught. Most all the science is self-taught. Right? See? It says time Lord the 25th sign, he'd be science prime self-taught because that's the angel. Nobody could teach an angel. He figured out himself. He was self-taught. Farrakhan is self-taught. Master Muhammad's not self-taught either. Because his father taught him. That's why I call him a made scientist. See? But it's a special case because he had basic knowledge of whatever level scientist he is, but he went above that because following purchased other knowledge, which is unusual, right? From other scientists to give him so that it increased his percentage, right? His degrees above what he normally would have. So he's considered 24th scientist, right? That's the one, the highest ranking, right, of the scientists, short of the 25th scientists. We have 360 degrees. He naturally has it. I mean, you naturally have the ability to be muscle man, but you got to go to the gym and do it. And that's why he had to break your seals. Then he had to study it. Studied over 30 years. See? So no, he's self-taught. So well, yeah, you say Elijah, no. He went to Elijah, said Elijah would baptize him. John would baptize him, right? So he gave him the basic history and stuff, right? That Master Muhammad left purposely for him to get, because a lot of stuff you will never understand. He understands it. See? That's when they baptized and get him, to give him the foundation. But all this science and everything else, and the angel, he taught himself that. So he is not only a time Lord, he's the time Lord. But the thing is that when I say time Lord, see, each season, like I said, there's 6,000 years a season. So he just came out of winter season, which is Dr. Yakub's the Lord that season. Right? Now we're in the spring season. That's why I call Master Muhammad the Lord of Dawn, because he's bringing in a new one. And he's going to take, and so like, the angel is only going to get us out here home. It's not the book for this season. That's a new book. Elijah Muhammad talked about that. A new book had to be given. The angel does not tell you how to build a hereafter. He does the Quran. He does blessed black man. Doesn't tell you how to create. Doesn't tell you how it look like. The Quran doesn't tell you. Give you some hints. Doesn't tell you what it look like. Doesn't tell you how to build it. So how the hell you gonna tell me that's the ultimate book when you don't know how you're gonna build it? Or you're gonna build the same thing you got. If you're gonna do the same thing America's got here, then why get rid of America? I understand if that's the case, because why waste time? just take over America, man, because we're gonna build the same thing. So why do it over again, right? That's kind of redundant. That's double duty. So I mean, from that point of view, that makes sense, right? If that's true, right? But if you're gonna make all things new, how are you gonna use the Quran as a guide? How is the Quran gonna give you the information you need to make all things new to build a paradise? How is the Quran gonna do that? Or you're just gonna say your 5 prayers a day and it's gonna get insight? Probably how gonna come back and tell you how to do it? How is the Quran gonna tell you to do that? How is the Mr. Black man will tell you to do that? How is he going to tell you to do that? How is the Father of America tell you how to build a new world? All things new. How is he going to tell you to do that? None of them. None of them even tell you how to get out of here through this mess that we're entering into. Because some people say we're at war already. We are at war, depending on the nature of the war you're talking about. But the angel, that's all it talks about. That's all it talks about is what's going on right now. So how are you going to tell me that it's irrelevant and everybody's talking about it, but they don't know what it means, and they have broken the seals? That means they talk through their ass, because if they have broken the seals, then they read the book, they don't know what they're talking about. So why you talk about and you know you have broken the seals? I haven't heard anybody claim. I would never claim they broke the seals. I would never claim, and I don't even know anybody out there in the world that's claiming that. Even Farrakhan ain't went that far. But I'm telling you, I have. We have the proof. So it says, no one in the heavens or earth under. That means no one in creation, entire creation, could break those seals. That means he's 25th scientist. That's what he's trying to tell you. He's a 25th scientist. See, it says Jesus would do 3 things. He had 3 miracles. See, a miracle is just science and wisdom that nobody else can figure out. But it is science. So there's no such thing as a miracle that goes beyond science. But miracles, because nobody can do it but him. So for everybody's point of view, they're miracles. So one of his things was to do, he was able to, one of his first things was supposed to break the seals. That was unbreakable seals. It means he was able to, that's a miracle, his first miracle. Because he's the only one to be able to do it. That proves he's a 25th scientist. Because he's wiser than 25th scientist. If he's not 25th scientist, he's wiser because he's a 25th scientist couldn't do it. If you look at it from that point of view, he's the only one who could do it. Then it says he would do the unimaginable, the impossible, right? Give life to Lazarus. He'd bring Lazarus to life. 2 things. There's a 4th thing, but it's not considered a miracle. See? And then the other thing was, it says, who could make war with the beast? Who is like the beast? Who can make war with the beast? That means it was impossible to make war with this beast. But it tells you, chapter 17, that beast, if you read it, because remember, you had a dragon, has 7 heads, 10 horns, and crowns upon his heads. Then he had a beast that's 7 heads, 10 horns, right? But the crowns upon his horns. Now, it tells you in chapter 13, it says, right, talk about that beast. It says, they praise the dragon because he gave power to the beast. So that's the beast you're talking about. There's 7 heads, 10 horns. That's the beast. See? But now he has the power. That's what he's talking about. So in chapter 17, it says, these 10 horns, right? Because that's part of the beast. He said they would make war with the lamb, he'd overcome them. But they said before, who could make war with the beast? Who's like the beast? So nobody could do it. It was impossible. But the lamb, they said, because they're going to make war with him, and he's going to overcome them. So that's the 3 things that he's going to be able to do. No, he's already accomplished 1. He broke the 7 seals. Because if he hadn't broke 7 seals, that means it's still in the dark. That means we're still waiting for someone to do it. That means Armageddon can't take place yet, can it? Until those seals are broken. Because it says, once each seal is broke, right, something happens. And those things, in other words, those things that happened if he had not broke the seals? Answer that question. It says, when he broke the first one, he saw this one. When he broke the second, he saw this one. So if he had not broke the seals, would those things that happened anyway? Because it isn't, who's needs revelation anyway? So if not, that means either he's breaking seals now or he's yet to come. That means all the stuff you nervous about ain't going to happen yet. Because all those things happen in Revelations. So you just calm down. If that's what you believe, then no one's broken the seals, then you might as well come. Because if Jesus broke the seals 2,000 years ago, then why is it sealed? I mean, if the book was sealed, right? But it was in the right hand of this God that you say, right, that has the book. That's a question in and of itself, because if you say the person sitting on the throne is the God, he wrote the book, how come he can't understand the book that he wrote? Because that's not, if you understand angel, that's Satan sitting on the throne. Because they had the book, that's understanding. See, that's you, you know that. It's like the person in the first chapter, you think it's Jesus. It says, like the Son of Man, that's the devil there. See, that shows Farrakhan, he makes same mistake, he don't know what he's talking about either. So, So this beast, okay, he takes down all three of these, right? That shows who he is. See? Okay, I got lost my train of thought here. So I other points I'm talking about anyway. So the angel is 22 chapters divided by 7 seals, which is pi, 3.14 whatever, which is a circle, complete 360 degrees. So why is that? See, and then he's the only one who can break the seals because it says no one in heaven or earth. That's the angel's way of telling you he's a 25th scientist because he's doing the impossible. He got 360 degrees of wisdom, right? Plus, he breaks seals no one else could do but him, right? Well, that's why I was talking about the one sitting on the throne is the devil. I mean, it's Satan. So he, you know, he didn't have it. Got the book, he don't understand it. So, I mean, so again, the angel, which is Arabic for Revelations, right, is telling you that it's 22 chapters divided by 7, that's complete 360 degrees, right, pi, and also it's saying no one could do these things, breaks, so that means breaks silver him. That means tell he's 25th scientist. That's the way of them telling he's 25th scientists. There's other things there too that we can talk about. That comes out of seclusion because that's the book that's necessary to get through the tribulation period. That's the God itself would come out, come forward. So you got two. You got the high priest, what they call the Mahdi, and the Christ. They come together, and the Christ is supposed to bring the angel, but the Arabs they say, "Wow, it was well, whatever," but they don't like the Book of Revelations. They don't understand it. So, I mean, I don't know why they don't like it. They don't like the Bible also because the Bible says that Ishmael was a donkey. So Ishmael was a donkey of a man. So that's 25th science. So what does 25th science look like? See, what do you expect? They got you thinking, oh man, the God, man, he's gonna come, he's gonna have halo, he's gonna have long hair and white, right? He's gonna have halo around his head, he's gonna walk on water, he's gonna turn water to wine, right? He's gonna do all these fantastic things, right? And so that's what you're looking for. That's not what the book says. The book says have nailed them of hell and lamb's wool. That's not Master from Muhammad. It says be elderly because be white and gray-headed. Right? It says he's gonna look like he's been going through hell. He's gonna look like Farrakhan, you know. No, he was looking like that. It says he looked like he was slain from the foundation of earth. Another place says he wouldn't be comely looking. It says, you know, it says he'd be despised by men. I understand that. I'm a very difficult person, very difficult. And I've been despised by everybody that know me. But they don't like me. Because I don't want to talk about NFL and NFL. They talk about that, I don't know what the hell you talking about. I mean, I used to be a contractor, right? You have my own computer business. You'd be surprised how many contract stuff got blown because I ain't like the nigga that they expected me to act like. Case in point, real fast, I had a contract UPS. But back in government was. Did I broken the seals yet? I'm not sure. I broke the seals in 1990. Right? I'm not sure. I continued working until I gave up everything and came to Florida, right? I came to Florida in 84. I mean 94. So anyway, I was there when they modernized. Because UPS used to do things the old way. Then they started doing things, you know, with computers and stuff like that. So I had to work on that system. So when they were very security minded, right? At FedEx, I mean, they were dope people. I worked for them in Tennessee, right? Those folks are like, they get paranoid. But I had the same problem with them too. So you had to go through the security thing. You had to go through this turnstile. Then you had to walk down this long path, I guess about 30 yards, right? And then you enter in the office. So first you come in, you know, you got a long hallway, straight hallway, right? Concrete and everything, right? Like walking underground bunker, right? But you pass everything, then you got to go to turnstile, then you walk down there. So one day, I'm a contractor. I'm not an employee because I ain't do that employee thing because the employee wants you to, kiss their ass and all this stuff. I ain't got time. The way I'm talking to you now, that's the way I talk to everybody. I don't put on masks. I mean, I had to be professional, right? Because I'm a professional business. So I don't go in there and talk about this, and I'll go about, like, that's another story too. I talk about business. I go, they pay me business. That's what I'm doing right now. I was very successful. So we walked down there, and the dude, he was a white dude, right? He was he was the supervisor of the next group over from me. But I know because we had meetings stuff. Right? So he come at the same time. He's walking down this little path about 30 yards long, 20 yards. He started talking about the game of basketball or something. I had no idea. There's such thing as basketball. I heard about Matthew Johnson, right? And I heard about what's that guy, Kareem Jabal or whatever his name is. I mean, I heard about it. I don't know about the game. I don't know about, I mean, even when I was a kid, I think I played basketball a couple of times. Well, I don't know about none of that stuff, right? But we're supposed to. So he started talking about it. I'm just walking along. Right? He said nothing, but I have no idea what he's talking about. So I guess he knows I wasn't really, like most Negroes. Hey, man, did this, man. I got the tip on it, man. I watched this game, and I wasn't doing that. I was just. So I could tell he was getting a little agitated because he kind of felt like I was dissing him or something. Then he started asking some questions, but I didn't know. But then he really got upset. Just say, I know, man. Well, I knew it, man. They didn't need my contract anymore. True story. I had to have over and over again because I don't want to be I'm into that crap. But I didn't come here to do anyway. I came here to put that system in. Right? That's what I came to do. I didn't come here, Like I said, I'm very difficult. But stuff I want to talk about, you don't want to talk about. I'm not a very good communicator because I guess you have to talk to be to communicate, not very seldom talk. I did more talking since I in the last maybe 20 years. Because it took about 10 years to really get into start telling people. Because I was studying, and at some point I says, I gotta stop studying and put this information out. I was putting information out, but it was like I was doing maybe 75% study, or maybe 80% study and 20%, dispersing information. I used to put out flyers before the internet, flyers and all kind of stuff out, right? And put ads and papers and stuff, right? I said, well, I had to change that equation. So I had to flip it around to like 80% getting information out, 20% studying. And now it's more like 90% getting information out, 10% studying. Right? But then the problem with that was, especially when the internet came out, I talk to people. And I'm not good at that because I don't talk to people. If I talk, I don't talk about bullshit. I don't talk about the game. I don't talk about nothing. I mean, so every now and then, maybe a movie or something I saw, I might, but I don't even talk about that really. I just don't do it. So therefore, when I had to do it, I wasn't good at it because I don't never do it. Okay? So right now, you see about the best you can get so far. Because it's not that. I mean, I had a vocabulary, all that, but I just, it's like you have to, you have to do it. I'm not eloquent. What do they call it? I had a demon wife, right? She's a speech therapist, so she knows all those words, right? So I had to reinvent myself. I'm still working on it because I tend to start talking fast and I know about what I'm talking about. I don't realize it. And another thing I found about myself, I keep saying right. I didn't know I was doing that. That's why I said, man, why I keep saying I had no idea I was doing that. Sometimes you record yourself and then I kept saying, right. I never had no idea I was doing that. I had no idea I was doing that. So I started saying to myself, I said, why are you doing that? I said, do I talk that all the time? Right. I had to reinvent myself, brothers, because like I said, I'm by nature. My wife can tell you I don't talk very much. I mean, that's why I've probably been married 3 times, right? Because I don't talk much. I don't talk to anybody. I'd rather be studying, right? So that's the nature of 25th, because they're telling you, right? What to look for. But you look for somebody like, whoa, see? You don't look for. See, that's one of the reasons why Master Muhammad came looking white, but that's what black folks expected to say become looking white. But that wasn't the reason. The reason was primary reason energy deprivation, which I don't know if Elijah Muhammad knew anything about, right? But that's a side effect. Because if he came looking black, he probably wouldn't have been as successful as he was, maybe. Right? Because when he left, they say he had about 6,000 followers, and they had his temple was in Detroit, temple number 1. See, temple number 1, Chicago is the second temple. That's the one established by Elijah Muhammad. The first one that's established by Master Muhammad, where Elijah Muhammad met him, was in Detroit. Right? That's number 1. And from my understanding, he had 6,000 followers. Master Muhammad when he met Elijah. And Elijah Muhammad quickly became one of his top ministers. But Elijah Muhammad had very little education. He couldn't speak very well. Right? But he rose up quickly. And then at some point, he approached Master Muhammad and said, I know who you are. And then we know history, we know what transpired after that. See? But when he left, see, because they didn't like Elijah. And they had a better understanding of the Bible than most people are right now. Because, see, they thought Master Muhammad was Moses. That's what they're thinking. Because, it says in it, it said Moses, see, Moses, right, put his hands in his bosom, turn out white and black, That's no stuff I'm against that, brothers and sisters. There's a lot of wisdom there. But that's not what they thought. So when he left, they mistook Elijah Muhammad as Aaron. They knew what Aaron would do. They knew what Aaron would do. See, they knew exactly what Aaron would do. Excuse me, brothers and sisters, for a minute, second. Excuse me, brothers and sisters. So they mistook Elijah Muhammad for Aaron. They went after him. They chased for years. He's on the run, I think it's about 7 years. Because they knew what Aaron would do. They just mistook Elijah for Aaron. But now Aaron's on the scene and they don't recognize him. Because he's doing exactly, see, so they went after him. It's on some of his own family. But now Aaron's on the scene, nobody's going after him, except me. Because you didn't know about demon what for, I told you. But they took Elijah Muhammad as Aaron. Because they knew what Aaron would do. Because they took Master Muhammad as being Moses, so Elijah Muhammad had to be Aaron. See? And so he wasn't slick and fine, all that kind of stuff like they expect to be, right? So they didn't like him. They didn't like him too, because it's hard to follow somebody you don't like. But now Aaron's on the scene. Farrakhan, nobody's after. See? Because like I said, they had a better grasp on scripture, even though they had it wrong. They had a better grasp on scripture, understand scripture than you do, because they knew after Moses would be lying Aaron. They just mistook Master Muhammad as Moses. Okay, brothers, so I think, is anything I want to say on this time, Lord? So, I mean, this is the facts are there. So what he's, because if you watch Ancient of Days, what's going on with Ancient of Days? It's just right there. Ancient of Days are all things I just told you, right? First of all, he cast it, that's all that said. 3 things, miracles he had accomplished. 4th thing wasn't to commit a miracle, right? But it was a battle, his first battle. That was the demons. That's in Mark, that's in Book of Mark, he had taken demons out. He didn't take out Farrakhan, right? He was a chief legion. He cast him out because when he came on the scene, remember, most of the people, a lot of people in the Nation of Islam, that demon-possessed man, came to him. They wanted to get with him. They recognized him, and they wanted to get. They wanted to get with him. Right? But Legion stopped it. Farrakhan stopped it. That means you got division in there right now. There's people that want to listen to Suleiman. They want to get with him. It's said right there. But somehow Legion, Farrakhan is preventing it somehow. But it didn't last very long, because before he launched, he said, please stop tormenting me. Because it says the reason why he was being tormented, it tells you the nature of it, because they would expose him. They exposed he was a demon. Said, come out, you demon. Come out of the nation of Islam, you demons. So please stop, because that's what he said. Please stop telling people that. Because he exposed them. And then he exposed them, right? He says, what's your name? And he had to make him reveal who he was. My name is Legion. What is Legion? L-E-G-I-O-N. Louis Eugene Grounds, N-O-I backwards. Right? And we are men. There's many of us. That means ain't no spirit spook nowhere. People. They start begging. Oh, I'm sorry. Please don't make me leave the country, because Farrakhan don't want to leave here. He wants to stay with Master. How you know that? He said, please don't let me leave the country. And he said, I cannot go over there with the swine. Can I go into swine over there? He wants to stay with swine daddies. So he had to get permission. See, because Suleiman has control now. He had to get permission. He asked him, will you please let me go with the swine over here? Because I told you, the door's closed to him. He's going to be flying down Stony Island now in this wheelchair in a few more days. That's what I'm doing right now. So I'm placed back to you when I'm there, so you know that I knew that I was going to be before I got there, because I know what I'm talking about. Right? So that's where he gets to fight. That's the Logos War. He gets to fight with them. They go off a cliff together. Okay. So that's when the first thing he take out the demons. Right? Now the first thing he do is break the seals. But taking out these wasn't considered a miracle. Right? And then he takes down, right? That's the Ancient of Days, right? So books open, so he broke the seals, right? He got rid of the demons, because he said thrones are cast down, got rid of demons. Where's this taking place? It's taking America. Why? Because he's in the furnace. That's why the flames are coming out. It's not the mother plane. Those planes don't have no exhaust or anything like that. They can't. Nothing comes out of it. It's how America was still in the furnace. That means we're in America. He's still in the furnace. This takes place. Because then he takes out the beast. He said the beast is given to burn and fire. See? So who can make war with the beast? Gets Nathan to take out the beast. He raises Lazarus. That's why he had millions, tens of thousands were mentioning him. He raised him up. Right? So he opened the books. All those things happened. Then he got rid of the demon. So that's so right. And plus, he's got nappy white hair, so he's elderly, and he's original. Right? So it ain't Master Muhammad, it ain't Pharaoh. And then, after all of that, he's accomplished all those goals. He's got rid of demons. He's accomplished all those different miracles, right? And then what? Then comes Master Muhammad in his clouds. He comes near to him. He's like the Son of Man. He's not the Son of Man. Son of Man comes from Sul-Oman. The play on words, Suleiman, Son of Man. Sul means son in Latin and in French. I mean, Latin and in Spanish. I'm not sure about French. Right? Because they're all from the same boat base, right? See. Oh, Su-Oman, Son of Man. Right? So he said he's like, but he's not son, he's like Son of Man. So he comes to the Ancient of Days. Now, Ancient of Days is not Master Muhammad, but the one coming to him is Master Muhammad. Because what? How you know it? Because he's the one that makes all things new. He's the one that gets the kingdom. He's the one that have built the kingdom's going to last forever. That's Master Muhammad does that. So who is he getting his kingdom from? Who has given it to him? The Ancient of Days is given to him. Who is the Ancient of Days? Elijah Muhammad's not giving it to him. He's an eternal leader of the nation of Islam. He never said anything like that. I was there. That's bullshit they make up. Stuff they pull out their ass, call it honey. So who is giving it to him? That's a 25th scientist. He gives it to him, then he fades back to the background. Same thing in Angel. You see the Angel. You see he's the king was set. You see the God and the Lamb. It's two of them. See, but he gives the Master Muhammad because he's a God of this age. The Lord of Dawn, the 6,000-year period. What he establishes is going to survive all the way through, because all God's age come, right? There's going to build on what he built on, what the foundation that he sets. Like give it all that's given to by the 25th science of Ancient of Days. It's right there, brothers and sisters. So now you're gonna tell me, oh man, I can't pay attention to the Bible. Well, then, if you can't, if the Bible is shit, then stop quoting it all. Stop quoting it all. Why are you gonna say, man? Well, hey man, the shit's on the steak, but I'm just gonna eat this part of the steak, or they don't shit. If it's shit on the steak, we're eating on the steak. Can't trust any of it. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Then we're gonna leave that right on the time, Lord. A lot more stuff, a lot of things I can say more, but I'm not going to that. We're gonna. I think I've been quite a while already. Let me check how much time I've been on this. Whoa. Okay, I keep going over. Okay, bro. Since we're gonna talk about this, then we're gonna leave it. This is one of the things that I may make an exception on. Hell. Now, you know, these Christians think it's someplace below the ground. No, they're going to find out. The Bible tells you what hell is. It says, when their skins are burned off, Allah will give them new skins. That's it, you know, we get this energy burst every 50 years. It's going to continue getting it for the next 76 trillion years till the universe totally contracted again. So it just gets better and better and better and better and better. A million years from now, we won't even imagine, can't imagine how it would be. So energized and everything, it'd be like, we'll be like slow motion people back here, even 10,000 years from now, even 1,000 years from now. Okay? So what happens is that this energy burst says it's momentous in heaven and earth. Now, I was going to make a graphic on this, so let me just see if I can explain it. You know, when you throw a rock into in the lake, right? You see the waves go out, right? So say, for instance, you throw a rock in there. Say there's like poles, and there's poles, and they're sticking up in the lake, right? All over the lake, right? So you throw a rock in the middle, and so it waves. They pass the poles and keep on going on, right? They pass the poles because the waves going to hit the shore, right? So go all the way to the shore, right? You understand? So you throw a rock in the middle of the lake, a big stone, and you get produce waves. So if you do reverse, right? Reverse that. You see the wave coming all the way back, right? And it passes all those poles, right? So it gets right back to the center again, right? Reverse motion, right? Understand that? So you throw it in there, it spans all the way out, passing the poles, right? So if you reverse it, all those waves come back and it always send it back to where it started from, right? So I told you, see, the Quran is a mathematical book, so is the Bible, but you don't understand that. I can tell you like AL-INJIL is 22 chapters divided by 7. Circle 360 is the reason for that stuff. So the Quran says it's momentous in the heavens and earth, but it comes all of a sudden. Now the only way that could happen is it means there's some kind of wave that's in heavens, right? That's coming towards the earth. That you're going to experience, because it says momentous in the heavens and the earth. That means it's coming to the earth, but it comes to you all of a sudden because you're on the earth. So much you're going to experience that full impact of that wave. Now, what does that mean? Okay, if the earth was not the center of the universe, you'd be like one of those poles. It just passed by you on its way to the center. You understand? It would pass by you, those poles, pass by on its way to the center. And then that's where it coalesces at the center, and that's where it will be absorbed at. That's Quran's way of telling you that's besides the fact that you're getting this energy wave, that the earth is the center of the universe. We're the maker, owner, creator, planets, God of the universe. We have to be the center. We're the center of the universe. You say, oh, well, we moved around the sun, but we're the center of the universe because everything come back to us. And because the earth was the center, right? It was the center of this gigantic star, superstar, was the core. That's why it takes extreme pressure to produce atoms. Right? And our sun can only produce helium atom, because that's 2 protons. It's not powerful. It's a very small star. But your other stars can produce iron atoms, aluminum atoms, right? Uranium atoms that are superstar to produce uranium atom, because it takes a lot of pressure, because you got hundreds of protons, you got to push together. It takes a super star to do that, to produce uranium, right? Think about that. See? So, well, why is it in the earth that you have every element there is? See, the way Cavey tried to explain that is, he says, well, all the stars exploded billion years ago. All these stars exploded. So you had superstars like that produce uranium, superstars that can produce iron, superstars that can produce copper, right? And they all exploded for some unknown reason. And then when they explode, because that's what happens. That's why it says, the Bible says that the stars are our treasuries, because it produces materials that we use, right? So we don't use just the earth. We also, because stars explode and take, if we want more materials, right? Because we're not going to destroy the earth. So they say, oh, and somehow all the stars blew all that material out of space, all over space, and somehow it coalesced and made up the earth. But that's not the biggest bullshit. Because they just can't come and make themselves see that we did all this. No, the reason why all those materials, uranium, because you don't have all that on Mars. You don't have all that in Jupiter. Only Earth, only planet in the universe has all those elements, because it was the center of the universe. It was the center of a gigantic star, like the Quran says, right? It says it was the earth and the heavens were one. That means one gigantic star. And then we expanded. They call it the Big Bang. The white folks call it the Big Bang. So with all that, because the biggest star ever, that means it produced every element possible. That's why you have every element possible on Earth. See? And I'll just say this. The thing is, if they had obeyed, white folks had obeyed, and they had to turn on us, because they was told to submit to them. See? But they the rebellious children that took, and they said, hey, man, we can take this whole thing. So they took and beat us, and tormented us, took us to Holocaust. But they had obeyed and just did what they was told to do, we wouldn't have did this to them. We did this to them. But they wouldn't stay on Earth. We would have transplanted them to another planet that don't have iron, because they can't, so they would never be able to build any ships to come off of there and bother anybody else. But we'd have put them out there. We'd have gave them a place out there. We'd have put them in paradise out there. If they could make a paradise for themselves, if they're going to turn it back into another hell again. See? So that's why we would have done that. But we couldn't do it. See? So what they did to us is, I said, we all get the same amount of energy. I know most of you don't understand it. Here I'm talking fast. I realize I meant to talk slower this time, and I just keep forgetting. We all get the same amount of energy because we live in a pressure system. I'm not going to have presentations, explain all of that. But what happened was, we have a symbiotic relationship here, because they brought us over here, and like a symbiotic relationship, like we breathe out, we breathe oxygen, and we breathe out carbon dioxide. Plants breathe in carbon dioxide and breathe out oxygen. So it's a symbiotic relationship with each other. But cycling, the same thing. See, because you take like water, right? We take water, we drink the water, we turn it to piss, then the sun turns it, cleans it up, turns it back to water, and it's cycle, recycling. So every nation has produced shit, right? Because they produce waste and everything else, right? And so within that nation, you got people that clean it up, the garbage people, garbage men, all that kind of stuff. People clean stuff, But what they did was they took, and boys over here has to do that for them. We eat the shit, right? You take the garbage, all that kind of shit, right? And they get the good part. That's what so-called slavery is about. Because I said it was really hard cost, because we was taking their shit and turning to gold. Mansions for them, nice carriages, nice food, all that stuff. And they was getting us shit, literally. Shitlings, I told you about that. They give us shit to eat, so they control the nature of our energy. We just get the same energy, but they control the nature. As long as we stay here, we have a symbiotic relationship where they control the nature of our energy. They control the nature of our energy. So therefore, we get the shit part, and then we give us the shit, and we turn it back into gold for them, and they turn it back to shit and keep it back to us. That's what's going on. Because They go out there, they live in the suburbs and everything. And you say, black no demons living out there with them because they live in my South. Open all them, they all demons. Yeah, okay, whatever. So, and they have us packed into sardines, open housing, all that kind of stuff, right? See? And they have us working down all that kind of stuff, and we get the shit, and we making them wealthy, and we barely make enough to survive off of. And that's the way that keeps them rich and powerful. They'll say their wealth gap is like 100,000 to 1. They making $100 an hour while you making $10 an hour. See? So they control, in other words, if we had $1 million, they wouldn't let us, remember redlining? They wouldn't let you buy $1 million gold mine. You had to buy a $10 million shit farm. Oh, we got a shit farm for sale. See, because you ain't buying the gold mine. So they control the nature, the quality of our energy. Not the quantity, the quality. They control the quantity of power by deceiving you, because that's how you get power, by turning energy into power, and you get by discipline. That's why you have the 5 fundamental principles of Islam. Yeah, the Bible tell you, when it said righteousness is just another word for discipline. Because like it said, you have money, and you take money, and you have one can have $1 million, or 2 people can have $1 million, be identical twins. One invested, that means he empowered his money. One just blows it, that means he just. Right? So what they do is they take and trick you into, oh man, the party, have fun. Just go out and get high and fake, because they tell you to blow your power, to blow your energy, so you never get any power. See, because they know if you start converting that to power, they done. And so you go along with it. Oh man, I'm going to see Jay-Z, I'm going to see all this stuff. See, like so Elijah Muhammad did. He taught people how to change their energy into power, and see what they was able to do. Most don't know, because you be fire country. He rebuilt Davis. So that's bullshit. If you was around when Elijah Muhammad was around, he built a nation. We have planes, cars, houses, banks, right? Stores, restaurants, everything for the people. Farrakhan built a damn thing. It's like, right? You tear down Sears Tower or Empire State Building, they build up a Pizza Hut and say, well, I rebuilt it. Really? He built shit. He's enriched himself. So what they did is they take and determine the quality of our energy. See? So instead of having a gold mine, you have a shit farm. So now you got a shit farm, then you got to smell shit all the time. But it's worth $1 million, but they won't let you buy anything positive with that $1 million. You buy shit with it. And that state will no longer going to be here. See? So that's why it says shitless. See? They literally forced us to eat shitless, was in chain slavery. That's what we ate. 24/7, that's what you ate. And you ate piss, urine and water. And they would personally piss in your water, right? Or tell you to go get water out of the damn outhouse. They would do that. You can't get water out of my well. Remember, blacks only and white only. So they had a well. Remember, they had no running water back then. They had a well. They had a well for you too. Or a little place where you can get some water, where it's dirty, where the animals got whatever. You got piss and shitty water. You didn't get the clean water. You couldn't get water out there well. You couldn't go anywhere near unless you get it for them. So now we're going to return the favor, because that's what hell is. See, it says we're going to take them and we're going to move them. Hell's going to be Siberia is further north and in Europe. We're going to close it off. See, they can't get out. Remember, at this time we're about the spiritual energy wave. It's going to cause you you can say you will transform in a twinkle of an eye. It's going to energize all of us. Some of us are going to go back to even being 16 years old again. See, in the next 50 years more, because that's it. If you survive the next 50 years, you're definitely going to be useful. If you don't make it all the way this time, right? Because every 50 years, I'm not going to go into details about that, but since we have presentations talking about it, right? But you could be energized. That's what's going to put you on top of civilization again. Some of us all of us going to be healthy again, right? But some of us going to be so healthy that it's going to reverse, because you're not really old age, you're wilting. It's all straw together, brothers and sisters. We experience wilting at old age. So what I'm saying is, so let's go to 50 years ahead from now, when everybody returns to their youth. As the Quran says, 16 years old, healthy. Your skin will be tight again. If you overweight, your skin is gonna be tight again, right? You're gonna be just like you were 16 years old, and they will too. They get energy too. But see, we're gonna control the nature of the energy. We're gonna put them up there. We're gonna lock them in, right? Instead of giving them food to eat, like the Quran says, when their skins are burnt off, we give them new skins. We'll give them shit and refuge to eat. That's what it says. That's what it says hell would be like. But they won't die from it. They will not die from it. They'll be so healthy, right, that they can eat shit and drink piss and it won't kill them. But like Jesus said, the worm will not die. That means they'll be so energy and everything, right? So energized that their sexual life will be like on steroids, like a rabbit. But they won't have any family ties. The Quran says. There won't be any friends, no buddies. You're going to live by yourself because you'll be scared to be out there because they eat you. Because you be the best meal in town. And then the men who chasing the women don't be caught because they know they want to copulate too because they're hot too. Right? But they know they're going to get eaten. So he catch them, he's eating them and sex and have sex at the same time. That's the hell they moving to. See? And they're not coming out of it. And their guards is guarding them, they ain't gonna let them out because they hate them. See? Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. That's the hell. And that's the call they say. But I think, I'm the judge here. And that was exclusively for devils. We have another hell for the tyrant, for these traitors. Now, I'm talking about the demons. Demons gonna be wiped out. These time makers, scriptees, like Ishmael and those guys, liars, deceiving our people, blocking his message. See, that's a tyrant. We got hell for them. But you know something? I've been thinking about this. I may throw some of them in there with them. Because like somebody like Ishmael, the way he's stepping on his father's, he know he's lying. Or you got to just take one reader, he's a message, black man, one reader lesson no damn way. Not teaching anything close to Elijah Muhammad Torah, not even close. But Ishmael's going along with it because he gave some piece of house to somebody out there, so he's selling everything out. So he might throw his ass up in there. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, brothers and sisters. There's something else I want to say about this. I can't remember what it was, so I'm going to leave it there. Oh. Well, I did say it, right? We're going to control the nature of the energy. Like they did us. So they're going to be wealthy. They're going to be healthy. Super healthy in hell. Last place you want to be super healthy. They don't be able to kill themselves. They'll be so healthy. But lonely. Scared, afraid. They get caught by another one, they're going to get eaten. And the pain, get burned off, whatever. All that pain, but it's not going to kill them, it's going to heal up. Receive more pain. Says the skins are burned off, give new skins. Because your skin's burned off, that's not pain, ain't it? But it heals up so you get pain again. That's hell, brothers and sisters. We trying to save from this, brothers and sisters. Right now, you're in the eye of the storm. And you partying and doing, you should be paying attention. Because a few minutes, because that storm's going to move, it's going to tear your ass up. And right now, before that storm moves, that's why Muhammad's going to deliver those in the Lamb's Book of Life. And you can get in the Lamb's Book of Life. Right? Ain't no question anything, because I don't ask you for a dime. I never ask anybody for a dime. Anybody's working me, don't give me a dime, they don't know how to do it anyway. Free gift. You already paid for it. All you gotta do is accept it. Accept the ticket out of here. That's my purpose. 30-some years, getting this message to you. Now I got some other people that's trying to assist. I don't need assistance, but if they want assist, that's fine. I help. That just amplifies it. See, because one, and I said that wrong last time. 1 ounce. See, 1 ounce of high pressure would defeat a trillion gallons. I said tons. Trillion gallons of low pressure. That's just nature. That's just mathematics. Don't take my word for it. You drop a stone in the ocean, a big stone in the ocean doesn't crush that stone, right? But the stone creates a ripple that spreads all the way to the shores. Because that stone produces higher pressure than the pressure around it. You understand, brother and sister? That's why God always sends just one messenger, one prophet, or one angel, because with higher pressure, and angels is the highest pressure software on the planet right now. Your thought is pressure, and angels higher pressure. That's why the world is changing right now. Because every time he broke those seals, he was like splitting an atom. ATTOM, atoms. He's splitting an atom. Every time he opens the seal, he's splitting an atom, which is high pressure waves, which is changing this world. That's why they're going confused and everything. Because why his whole reality is confused, it's falling apart. It's they can't tell what a woman is anymore and about what a sex is. Everything they're confused because high pressure thought is in the world. It's been in the world since, because he split the first atom in 1990, and that high pressure shock waves are changing the thoughts of people in the world, and it's crushing them. See? And Master Muhammad is going to shorten those days, because what he's going to do is he's going to take the resistance to it, which is false Israel. He's going to take it out, so there's going to be no resistance to it all. So that shock wave is going to move so fast. See, because they got a resistance to it. But if you take resistance out, that means the shock wave move much faster and more devastating. But there's nothing to stop it, so slow it down. That's why people are going to rise suddenly, because there's no resistance to it anymore. That's the only resistance. Suleiman's dealing with the resistance to Antichrist. That's why I call it Antichrist. Anti means you neutralize the positive. The negative neutralizes the positive. Once Antichrist is gone, right, then there's no resistance to it. Why they call him Antichrist? Because I said that they call him Antichrist because Suleiman's the Christ, and the Antichrist, in other words, in 1948, we was at zero energy deprivation. We finally ended our energy deprivation, 50,000 years of it. That means we're at zero then. We wasn't suffering in deprivation. We wasn't had power. We didn't have external power, right? We had enough energy to maintain ourselves. That means we were at zero at that point. So we didn't have an external power, an external energy. It's zero. But if anything comes when you're at zero, if you have a positive 10, you have to have a negative 10 to balance it, because everything has to come back to zero. So when Suleiman came into existence in 1948, right, he produced the positive Antichrist. They came in at the same time, 1948. That's what that means. Brothers and sisters, that's what that means. And that's the essence of the power, because everybody has Antichrist. See? They're less as powerful now as they were in 1948. What you're doing in here, and that tell you how much power you were. Because if you use a negative 10, if you use a positive 100, you produce a positive negative 100. If you're a positive 1,000, you produce a so Suleiman is like a positive 10,000, then he produced a negative 10,000. So in other words, when he came into this, he produced a whole nation of people. That's how powerful he is. But then as the universe, as energy starts increasing, that means at zero, if you're 10,000, you got positive 10,000, negative 10,000 to balance you. But if the thing moves from 0 to 100, right, then the negative 1,000 becomes negative 990. Not negative 9. The negative 10,000 comes out to, would make it easier? There's shift to 1,000, right? 1,000. Now that negative 10,000 is only 9,000, negative 9,000 now. And the negative 10,000, 10,000 is 11,000 now, see? So it's getting stronger, the other one's getting weaker. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. So you'll see in a few minutes. This is the time it says the mystery of God will be revealed. Hope you understand, brothers. I think we'll leave it there. Oops. What happened? Oops. Oh, I don't know why this does that. I gotta look into that. It's kind of weird. Okay, brothers and sisters, that's the end. Hope you understand. Okay. I'm closing out my audio audience. This is hold on, where to go here. Okay, this is the Black Alert segment of the Fire Zone. Fire Zone out. And for my video audience, thanks for listening. Resurrected Nation of Islam. We come to you every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Hope you understand. If you want to learn more about AL-INJIL, we have people that could well, I can teach you. If you're interested, seriously interested. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. But we do have there's people that can teach you if you're really interested. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Okay, we're gonna leave it there. Assalamu alaikum.